So we're looking at kind of a, I guess, a mismatch upper. We don't even know what the barrel is, do we?
No, not yet.
But it's sort of neat looking from 2 feet away, but when you start looking at the details, this thing's all messed up, huh?
Yeah. Something when they stuck it together, the quad rail here doesn't line up with the upper. You can see the material kind of in here around the screws is all kind of chingered up. I don't know if the screws rubbed on it or if they had to Dremel material out of the way to get the screws in. There's little spots in between in the 1913 rail where it's damaged. The front looks like somebody has dropped it when they built it and smashed that up. If you look on the bottom, you can clearly see the gas block is a little bit crooked.
A little bit, yeah.
And then if you look down, if you can see down the top, it's definitely indexed wrong, so it's probably not even over the gas port.
Oh, when you're talking about the gas block, I was looking at how the barrel isn't even in the thing right. But
yeah, if you look, there's a like concentric circle in here, and the barrel should be in the middle of it, and it's tweaked kind of down towards the bottom for some reason. You'd think it would set kind of about in there.
Up in there you can barely see, but the gas block, yeah, is way over to the left. So
yeah.
Basically they took some components that look like legit components, but they just assemble it like with a drunken monkey. And so now you're going to try to fix this, huh?
Yeah, got to strip it all apart and kind of start from scratch and make sure it's put together right.
We'll take a look at it after that. Okay.
Alright, well, we got this upper a little more apart to see what's going on with it, and noticed all kinds of things. First of all, taking the screws out, they were finger tight. I mean, not even hand tight. No amount of Loctite or anything on them holding them in. Definitely would have fell out after a couple of range sessions.
You know, to me that doesn't even look like a machine thread.
Yeah, like it's a real coarse screw. Not sure why they made it like that.
But you're thinking that they were supposed to only go in flush and then they tighten them in too high?
Well, I think that they had this crooked and they just kind of forced everything in to make it work. It indexes off of the barrel nut here, and the barrel nut isn't indexed straight on the upper, and that's why the quad rail was off when it was timed on there. Plus, getting this apart, it's all beat up. The threads are all chingered up in here, like somebody put a punch in there or put maybe a spanner wrench in there to tighten it instead of using a box wrench. Who knows what went on with that. But when we showed you before, the gas block was crooked. It was actually centered on the gas port. The gas port isn't centered on the barrel for
so they literally didn't drill that hole.
Whatever reason. Either the pin on the barrel extension broke when they installed it, or it's off center, or they drilled the port incorrectly. That's what you get when you buy cheap no-name barrels. We don't even know who made this barrel because there isn't a manufacturer mark or a twist rate or anything marked anywhere on it. I guess they can't get a bad name if nobody knows who makes the barrels. So
is this a profile of any kind? It kind of seems
no,
like
this
it's
is actually, I haven't
weird.
seen one of these before. It's kind of got this like hourglass. I mean, it looks really nice. Really smooth profile to it. Not sure why they didn't just step it down. It's under a handguard. You're never going to see it. But at this point, we're not even going to really get into this anymore. We're just going to put everything back together and...
It's unfixable, in other words.
Yeah.
Because of
at this point, because of the cheap components that were used, there's nothing we can do to really make it right, make it reliable, dependable, something we would want to stand behind.
So now it seems to me like if this gas hole is off, can't you just use the gas tube to bend it back to position?
Yeah, you would think that that wouldn't be a problem. You'd just index the gas block wherever you needed to line up, but the gas tube needs to be straight where it goes into the receiver. Because
it's going to go into this hole.
Yeah, it's going to slide into this hole here and go back in. And then when your bolt closes, it actually seals up over the gas tube here. And if it's off, like say this is tweaked way over here, and then you bend this part in and it hits, it can actually hit and keep it from going into battery, or it can bind up on it, and then the bolt might not go completely into battery.
Yeah, all kinds of
problems. And then you'd have a failure to fire.
Yeah, if you don't have the right gas, then you're not, it's all off timing and everything. Cool. Well, thanks for showing us some insight as to why something that looks good from a couple of feet away might not actually, it might be a lemon basically inside.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching Gun Websites.